alongside John Remain. Please welcome Blenheim formation.
But one of his great achievements was restoring this venerable light bomber back into flying condition. And what a story that is. Flanked by a Mark 9 and a Mark 11 Spitfire in the hands of John Gowdy and Mike Collett. All three pilots absolutely versed in the vintage warbird world and enjoying every moment. Let us savour it.
Blenheim itself, initially conceived as a civil airline, was in response to a challenge from Lord Rolls-Royce to produce the fastest commercial aircraft in Europe. He impressed the Air Ministry enough to turn it into a modified design as a Royal Air Force bomber.
Deliveries of these to the RF squadrons commenced in March 1937. Initially referenced with the name Bolingbroke, but retrospectively changed by the Air Ministry at the time to the Blenheim. Blenheims, the Mark 1s and Mark 4s were adapted as fighters, additionally by the addition of a gun pack of 4 Browning 303 machine guns in the bomb bay.
Magnificent sight and sound, flanked by the iconic design from the R.J. Mitchell Supermarine factory design team. So enjoy this formation as they're shortly be breaking into individual demonstrations. Of course, all being flown very gently and ably to ensure the longevity of these amazingly valuable aircraft. An amazing 4,400 Blenheims were made in various types during the course of the late 30s and early 40s. The start of the war, in fact, it was the most populous aircraft that the Royal Air Force had at the time.
And there, John calls the brake.
Appreciate there as we get that underside pass, just what a large aircraft it was as a fighter at the time, but of course the development of monoplane fighters made all bombers at the time more vulnerable, particularly if flown in daylight. Although the Blenheim went on to prove success as a night fighter.
Many were, however, shot down, many lives lost. They continued to be used by overseas operators. The Royal Canadian Air Force, the Finnish Air Force and the Royal Yugoslav Air Force as well. Well, in fact in Finland right up until the late 50s. But it was retired from the UK inventory in 1944.
What's quite extraordinary about the renovation story here is that the front of this aircraft, the cockpit and nose area, had actually been detached many, many decades ago and was used, believe it or not, as an electric car. Well, that was discovered and found, and with John's ingenuity and the excellent mechanics that he has across in Duxford,
managed to make outstanding use of that cockpit in this aircraft you see here today. John calling for his last pass. Typically, of course, the Blenheim would carry a crew of 3, a pilot, navigator, bombardier and a wireless operator. A little bit cramped on the up in the front pilot's area, the control yoke obscuring many of the instruments and making it tricky on landing. But last pass now from John Romain in the venerable Blenheim.
Keep your eyes peeled now as John Gowdy leads. As they pull off into wing over on the right hand side. Note on the LF9 and entered service in September 1944. Initially with the maintenance unit at Blenheim, where it was prepped for active duty. It was delivered to Merlin in northern France the following month and pressed into service with 33 Squadron. They were the 135th wing of the 2nd Tactical Air Force, by which time showing off the wonderful elliptical wing, so definitive of the Spitfire profile, and of course the very thin wing built, made for speed, really effective design, but of course the wing still thick enough to avoid importance.
Early machine guns, then subsequently the cannons, and of course the undercarriage.